Hey, Symposium listeners. Have you ever listened to our A Song of Ice and Fire coverage and wanted to chime in live with your thoughts? Or wanted us to cover a property of your choice?
Introducing the Symposium Review Contest. The contest is open now and closes on August 31st, 2026.
Here's how you can enter. Leave us a 5-star review on any podcatcher and send us a screenshot to earn an entry. You can leave reviews on as many platforms as you want, and each screenshot counts as an entry.
If you want an extra incentive, every review you submit on or before April 30th, 2026 will be counted as 2 entries.
If you win, you get to pick one of the following 3 options.
Option 1, join us for an A Song of Ice and Fire wrap-up episode after we have read A Dance with Dragons.
Option 2, get us to watch or read or otherwise consume a piece of media to cover on the podcast.
Option 3 is the same as option 2, but you get to also be on the podcast episode with us.
We will have a minimum of 2 winners. One winner will be the person who earned the most entries, and a second winner will be chosen through random draw. If interest is high, a third winner may also be chosen.
So folks, get those reviews in on or before August 31st, 2026. We look forward to chatting with you in fall of 2026.
And now on to the episode. Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmat, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Dance with Dragons, chapters 55 and 56. The Queensguard and the Iron Suitor. In these chapters, Barristan meets a cat, and Victarion drowns a mouse. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. So, Harmat, who died in these chapters?
So many.
You gotta give me important ones.
People. Okay. The Yunkai guy.
The supreme leader guy, whatever.
Thank you. I think it was like
Y Mo Y.
Yeah, it was like a 6-letter Y name, and unfortunately, every time it's a 6-letter, like the 6-letter name, I lose myself. Unfortunately,
like
I lose
name?
the plot. No, sorry. Yeah,
like,
I guess.
No other 6-letter names but mine.
Exactly. Maybe that's the reason. Who knows? But yeah, that guy. And then, okay, sorry. Let me mentally get back into these chapters. Yeah, them. And then, like, yeah, obviously we knew about the people that Drogon burnt and all the things. I think, was he the only, like, important one? They think Dany's dead.
Yeah.
And then I think that was it.
I think
for
you're right.
Barristan's chapter, and then
like 200 something people died, but we don't get names.
Oh,
for
and
them.
he's on the brink of death. Our guy.
Yes. Strong Belwas.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh, we didn't hear anything about the Dornish. Did they get fried? But I think he would have mentioned that, right?
Yeah, he absolutely would have been like, and to make matters worse. Yeah, I think he just was not thinking about them this time around.
Yeah.
And then in Victarion's chapter, I mean, Makoro came back from the dead because we thought he was dead. Once again, George R. R. Martin with his bringing people back from presumed death.
Well, to be fair, he didn't say he died. He was just blown off the ship. So
true.
Make of that what you will.
Okay, wait.
He didn't say Arya died. He just said Arya took an axe to the back of her head. Like, let's be fair to the guy.
Yeah, but like he knew what he was doing. I'm complimenting him, but I'm also saying, you sly bastard. Also, because, Kate, I was gonna ask you, I could not remember, like, what we thought happened to him. So he was blown off the ship like that. Oh yeah, because he was standing there, like, praying, and we were like, dude, get cover, right? And then he just kind of went off somewhere, and then ended up there, and we were like, oh, why was he so calm the whole time? And now this sort of answers our questions, maybe? Yeah, but he came back. Okay. I think that was everything.
Any other deaths?
I am not
the mouse that drowned. Like,
oh yes, oh yeah, the maester that
mousy.
Yes.
That's why I said
yes.
mouse. So like,
Yes,
Just
of course.
get with it, people. It's fine.
Yes, the mouse. And then I feel like that was everybody. Everybody.
Yeah, he's also lost a bunch of ships, so, who knows how
Yeah,
many.
exactly. We just don't know about those ones yet.
Yeah, so let's move on to the feelings part. How do these chapters make you feel, Harmat?
Okay, therapist. Queensguard was so much fun. I love Barristan. He's so girly pop. He's not, but I'm just gonna say that he is. Although
What even is girly pop? Why can't Barristan be girly pop?
well, girly pop is like an aesthetic, and I just don't know if Barristan fits.
I don't know what the kids mean these days.
But I think I think you have a point though, because the reason I started off with Barristan is so girly pop is because I guess an alternate meaning of girly pop is just me being complimentary, like, you're such a girly, like whatever, but just in like a I admire you way. So I guess Barristan is girly pop by that definition. But yeah, he was sort of slaying his boots off. He was sort of having a little inner crisis, which was kind of fun. And then, but everyone in the end of his chapter was so fun. I was like, what now? What? You're gonna, what? Whoa, so I'm excited about that. And then we got to Victarion's chapter, and here I am thinking, like, there's no way that this relates to the last chapter, like, these are two different vibes going on. And then at the end, Makoro shows up, and it just, like, these chapters felt like there was like a nice little bow on them, but I also was just like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Let me read more. So I had a good time, and they were so fun, but I just was like, I need to know more,
Yes, indeed. So,
although Victarion is still as annoying as I remember him to be.
Yeah.
I'm starting to I'm hoping that maybe that's like, maybe we get like sort of a Theon arc where he becomes more bearable. I'm kind of hoping for that for him.
You are such an optimist.
What, he's gonna get worse? He's gonna get Makoro on his, he's got Makoro and he's like, aha, I got this. Like, he was already bad, but then as soon as he stops, like, living in Euron's shadows, he gets worse,
Only time will tell.
So true.
So, summarize.
Oh god, okay.
3, 2, 1, Barristan.
Okay, we meet Barristan. They think Dany's dead. Barristan thinks she rode the dragon. It's the aftermath. Yunkai people are mad. The Grand Supreme guy is gone, dead. Barristan is kind of having a crisis of faith of like, and then he gets a secret message from Shave Pate, who's like, we're gonna take these guys down. The peace is very fragile.
Switch.
Victarion, he's lost a bunch of ships. He's stressed out. They're meeting at the freaking, what was it called? Can you give me the name? Thank you. Can you give me the name?
Something. Cedar.
Thank you. The Isle of Cedar. He's not having a good time. There's monkeys. Makoro shows up. He's like, but we're gonna sail anyway. It's fine. His hand is like about to kill him. He got sliced. And yeah. Makoro comes in. Heals him.
I don't know how long that exactly was, but we'll call it a minute. And let's move on.
The Queensguard.
Yes. This is just as you predicted, him showing us, the aftermath of the dragon in the pit, which is his Dara has become all too mighty for Daenerys's shoes. I don't know what I was trying to say. I was like, he's trying to fill Daenerys's shoes, but I don't know. He doesn't want Barristan around. He's got his own pit fighter protectors. And everybody else has been relegated. Well, like, Strong Belwas is dying under the care of the Blue Graces.
Care in quotations.
Yeah, Selmy's like, I don't know if they're helping or helping. And the Shape Pit is no longer
Selmy's figured out that it was the Locusts, because he's on high alert.
Yes. And the Unsullied have withdrawn to their barracks. because his Dar tried to put somebody else in charge of them, and they were like, we don't listen to nobody except Daenerys.
Grey Worm, icon of my
Yeah.
life.
All the Dothraki of her Khalasar have been sent across the river to go look for her, because that's the last place that Drogon was seen going. So they're like, if she's alive, she's there, go find her in the Dothraki Sea grasslands. It's your place.
Go fetch, basically, is what they've done with them.
Jogo, Daario Naharis, Grolio, and the hero of the hero guy named Hero from the Unsullied, who were hostages, remain hostages with the Yunkai, which is not cool. That's, because all the Yunkai have gone back. They're back outside the city. The point was, like, until we're inside the city, you give us hostages. But they're still holding the hostages, so that's not good. Yeah. And Miss Sandy has been replaced as the translator on Herald, so it's all just terrible. Yeah. Barristan is feeling very dismal in these situations. And, he's trying to, like, not take it personally that he's being dismissed, because he's like, honor's as silly as a fool's motley in this viper's pit that's marine. I'm like, yeah, I think you could have applied a little bit more of this thinking also in King's Landing, but to each their own.
For real, yeah. Yeah, just comparing it with his reaction when basically the exact same thing happened with the Robert to Joffrey leadership transition. And then he was like, "Oh, how dare you!" And I get it, and I do think that reaction was valid. But it is interesting because he's kind of like,
I support that entirely. But I think Barristan does fall in the spectrum of too honorable.
Right? Yeah, totally. Yeah. I was like, is this a Ned chapter?
But because we still like that, so it's fine.
Of course, we love all these characters who are too honorable for their own good. Basically,
it's because they're better than us. That's why.
Yeah,
they're better.
Totally. But he's like, what was I gonna say? Yeah, like he had that reaction, and it's funny because this chapter is kind of him being like, do I commit to this? Like, am I willing to go against everything I've known and, like, believed in whatever? Or am I even going against it? Like, he's trying to justify it that way, be like, maybe I'm still the same, maybe I'm still the same. But I feel like this example kind of illustrates that, like, no, you actually have changed, because your reaction last time this happened versus this time, and also the way that you're handling things all of those other times with, like, King Aerys and with King Robert and with Joffrey, you weren't really there, but with all the other ones versus here where he's like finally gonna take a stand. So I liked like reading his little arc with that.
Yeah, character growth. Yeah, and his Dar, even in his almightiness, isn't quite as easy on the throne as he would like to be. Because now that Daenerys is gone, there's other people among the nobles or whatever, of the old blood, as they call it, that think that they might make a better king than he is. So he can't even trust any of them. That's why he's got only his pit fighters, which are like only loyal to him, protecting him. Yeah. And it's just and they're trying to like console, because who is it? Reznak. He's getting this news dismissal from Reznak Mo Reznak, the perfumed seneschal, who potentially Daenerys should be wary of, or maybe it was a stinky steward, who knows? Maybe it was all of the above,
Oh my god, and if it was the stinky steward, maybe it was Makoro.
So you think Makor is like actually working against Daenerys somehow?
Not that he's necessarily working against her, but that she should beware. Because I'm kind of wary of this, like, I wouldn't call it an alignment with Victarion or anything, because that's just not what has happened. Like, they just rescued him, and he saw it in the flames, and he was like waiting for it to happen, whatever. But
the supposed alignment.
Yeah, there is kind of like a, could this become an alignment? Like, who's gonna change who, sort of. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they kind of, there seems to be quite a few differences there, I think, at least at first glance. So we just don't know where that's gonna go. So then now I'm kind of starting to think that it could be Makoro, potentially.
Yeah. But Reznak is reassuring Barristan that if it ends up being battle anyway, you'll be the one to lead it. And Barristan's like, yeah, no way. You have nobody else that's competent in those skills. So he's
For
like,
real.
okay, fine. He goes back up to his rooms, which are like all the way at the top with Daenerys's rooms. His star is not living there because he wants as many walls around him as he can. So he's like taken to living in the deep heart of the castle.
Right.
And he has taken custody of all the young pages, aka hostages, that Daenerys had.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So now it's just Barristan and Missandei, like up in the highest level.
Ugh, and he's an old man, so it's hard for him.
Yeah. And it's just like even the weather is miserable, and he's like, we need some rain to just wash it all away, and I felt that.
Yeah.
And speaking of washing it all away, there's a lot of illness going around inside and outside the city. Like the markets are closed and the fighting pits are technically open, but like nobody really goes to see them.
Yeah.
And people aren't even going to the Temple of the Graces. Like whether that's that's where they also do the healing. So maybe it's just like, let's not go to
where the people are sick and all the things. Yeah.
Or or people are so afraid to leave their houses that they won't even go to their gods. Like it's kind of both of those things,
Right. Yeah.
And this chapter is a lot of reminiscing. He's like, oh, back in the day, I remember that meal I had when I was knighted in King's Landing by King Aegon, which, by the way, egg.
Yes. Oh, and then he also at one point is talking about how he misses having a Lord Commander who could command him, but now he is the Lord Commander. And I was like, oh my god, Dunk.
That so hard. I struggle constantly between not dealing well with other people giving me instructions when I feel their instructions are not
subpar.
They're subpar, but also just wanting somebody to tell me what to do so I don't have to think about it. Like, I'm also a control freak. Yeah. Like, I need to control everything. Like, you can't do it better than I can, but also I don't want to have to do the control. Like, I'm a control freak that wants to relinquish control so bad.
Totally. Yeah. No, yeah, you are very, you are, the definition of, begrudging leadership taken on. Not in, a bad way, but in, that's just you.
Yeah, I'm realizing every action I take in life is out of fear of responsibility. I don't want any more responsibility. And I keep being dealt more and more responsibility. And I don't like it.
It's a curse.
I don't want to be responsible for anything. Maybe myself, but even that's too much. But that I will take. But it's when I'm responsible for other people and other things that I'm just so resentful of it.
No, preach it.
Okay,
I feel that.
Let's get back to Barristan, who can't remember what he ate 10 days ago.
Yeah, but sorry. With my comment about, I was like, oh, a Dunk and an egg mention? Because the Lord Commander comment, I was like, oh my god, Dunk would have been his Lord Commander, right? I don't know
if Dunk would have been his Lord Commander.
Oh, he wasn't there yet? He was, because Egg only knighted him. Egg didn't, the next king made him.
Yeah, Jaehaerys made him.
White Guard guy.
Yeah, Queensguard. Yeah, and I think, we know eventually, at least, it was Arthur Dayne, the Sword of the Morning, who was the commander in charge.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, cool. But Dunk and Egg, icons.
Yeah, but Dunk was probably there when Aegon knighted.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I wonder if Dunk refused to knight him himself because he still believed he wasn't a knight or all those things.
Oh my god. Oh, lore.
Yeah, anyway. But he's I remember that meal. I had that 47 years ago, so clearly. But I can't remember what I ate 10 days ago.
I have a prediction. I have a prediction for you.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You sound sad in this prediction and I don't like it.
He's gonna get sick with the flux and he's gonna die. There's way too much mention of I'm old. I also the old mentions I did are when he's I need to make sure, especially because he's so intensely believes that Dany is still alive, so he still is I'm gonna get you like a knight, like a
A replacement
Queensguard.
knight.
Yeah, a replacement knight, a Queensguard, like, and he's like, yeah, I'm working with my people. Before I die, I'm gonna make sure there's, like, it's so sweet, because it's like, he's so committed to, like, she's not
So
dead.
it's too good to last, so he's got to die.
And, you know, the flux do be fluxing, and if there's someone who's gonna die from it, it's the guy who can't walk upstairs anymore, you know what I mean? Or is struggling, like, it's
well,
burden,
I don't know. He makes the climb 5 or 6 times a day, and he's like, now I'm starting to feel it in my legs and back, and I'm like, I felt that reading about it, and I am not even 25, so I don't know, just... But he's been feeling it because he's like, oh, if I had been younger, 10 years ago, I would have stopped Daenerys. I wouldn't have let her get to the dragon. And he's like flashing back to that moment and how helpless he felt.
Yeah.
And how her, like, she was on fire. Like, her hair was aflame. And she was, and like, people are talking about, like, you know, the dragon's gonna eat her, whatever. And he's like, no, I saw her. I know nothing about dragons, but I know Targaryens, and she was riding that shit. So
exactly.
Hair on fire. That doesn't sound very conducive to staying alive. How do you think she fared with that?
I think that, like, maybe, like, you know how they have, like, the characteristic, like, hair and the eyes, like, maybe the hair just works. Maybe it can withstand.
I mean, she has once before emerged from a pyre.
Right. That too. And I also just, like, I feel like I know that, like, I don't know, like, she's the dragon, you know? I feel like if anybody can withstand hair on fire, like, that just, it was a shocking detail, but I wasn't like, oh no, she's dead, you know?
Okay.
Like, I do think that, like, her body could take that.
Okay. Right. So maybe she's harmed, but not so much as others would be harmed.
Yeah, like, maybe it fried a little bit of her hair, but, like, her hair can grow back quickly or something, you know?
Right.
Like I don't think it
or
was
who
like
even
a, like,
needs hair.
yeah, I don't know. She could rock a bob now, you know, and it'll be like the ends will be slightly crispy. But yeah, I feel like even if, okay, A, I don't think that, like, it would, like, really harm her in that same way, but then B, I think even if it did, like, I think that there's gotta be some sort of little, like, put a little dragon blood on it, it cures the wound because I'm a dragon. Like, there's gotta be some sort of lore that works.
Okay.
Or it's like, they got far enough away and then she, like, dipped her head into the sand, like, stopped the fire. Like, I think that, like, we've dealt with the fire, you know?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Well, so that's Daenerys, but some other people didn't deal so well with the fire, because he only saw what happened within the pit, which was, you know, the dragon lashing out but then flying away. But outside the pit, there were, like, hordes of people gathered, and they started to panic, and the dragon loosed some fire on them too.
Yeah.
And this is where we learned that it took them, like, a whole day to gather up all the corpses, and 214 were killed, and 3 times as many burned or wounded.
Yeah.
And Drogon, like, he skedaddled. He left the city. He was last seen flying north. And there was no trace of Daenerys or her corpse or anything.
Oh my god.
And Barristan's like, maybe she's flying home. And Missandei's like, no, she wouldn't go without us. Do you think that's true?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
All right. So he's gone up, he's hanging out with Missandei. Missandei reveals that she has a message from the Shave Pate.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you know, like, you should be careful of colluding in such matters. Like, you're smarter than this, but sure, tell me what's the message. Oh, he wants to meet me. Sure. You send a message back. I'll meet him tonight in the stables. Mm-hmm. Basically. And oh yeah, the Shave Pate is not welcome in the pyramid right now because, you know, him and his Dar, mortal enemies. So he's just been hanging out in his humble pyramid, as he calls it.
Which is such a funny oxymoron.
Well, not
like,
humble,
what do you mean?
Modest, but yeah.
still, modest pyramid, like,
Yeah.
shut up.
Oxymoron.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I don't think we knew this. Apparently he'd been offered Warden of the River, but he was like, bullshit. And then it just further was like,
yes. Exactly. Yeah, he's like, I don't want that. Um so Barristan more thinking, oh, I know about all them Kingsguard. Some of them, they're all people. Some of them did great things, some not so great things. The best of them overcame their flaws, did their duty, and died with the swords in their hands. The worst were those who played the Game of Thrones.
Wow.
And by the end of this chapter, it looks like he's also playing the Game of Thrones, so...
Dude, I do love, okay, I have two... This little paragraph was so good. I love, man, they were just like everybody else. I'm phrasing this terribly, but, I love, sure, that was the Kingsguard, but, they were just guys who were better at fighting, you know? I love, a coming back down to reality in that way.
Yeah.
And so I really did love that paragraph. And then, yeah, I do love, what Varys and Littlefinger and all of them do isn't necessarily right, but I do like that, so many years he just kind of stood by and let things happen, and now he's kind of, taking a stand, so he kind of is adding meaning to, we were just guys who could fight better, but, now he is kind of, it's kind of how there's a lot of knights in this series who kind of prove that being a knight is no better than anything else, or than not being a knight, or just being, an ordinary fighter or whatever. But Barristan is kind of one of those people where he's, he really tries to take those things to heart.
Right.
So it kind of shows how,
he's
how you
a
can
knight
be...
who actually...
is a knight.
Takes the responsibility of being a knight. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's kind of he's so old, and even now he's learning and he's progressing on his journey of being a knight. So I feel I don't know. I like it. It was cool.
Yeah.
I was yeah, he's realizing that you can't just you can't just be apolitical in your political position, you know? You've got to be able to make moves, sir, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So he makes this plan. I'm gonna, I'll speak with him, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Missandei's like, okay, also I've heard that the Yunkish have ringed the city with scorpions to kill Drogon if he ever flies back. How do we feel about that? And Barristan's like, don't you worry about it. Basically, I'll protect her, I promise. And in his head, he's like, how can I when I'm not even I'm not even with her.
Yeah. Ugh.
But
I love his
you gotta
little
comfort
musings.
a little girl,
Of course. Yeah. Ugh.
Tell her whatever. Yeah. Basically her only friend remaining, so.
Yeah. Oh my god, Danny. Or Missandei.
Yeah, more reflecting on all the kings he had seen. Aegon, Jaehaerys, and Aerys, and how maybe with Aerys, he had done his duty a little too much, a little too well. Maybe if I hadn't rescued him from Duskendale, he would have died and all would have been well because Rhaegar would have been king and
wow,
all of that.
That's an interesting thought experiment.
Yeah. Haunted by all his failures, and he's like, all these people I was sworn to protect. Jaehaerys, Aerys, Robert, Rhaegar, Elia, Rhaenys, Aegon, they're all dead. And then I was like, wait, what do you think he's gonna do if he finds out about Aegon?
I was thinking the same thing. I think it's tough because it's he's committed himself to Dany, but I don't know. I think that maybe this chapter could also his arc in this chapter could also be part of why he ultimately ends up committing to Dany. Because I guess I could see it two ways, because technically not that he's you know how he uses the defense of I haven't sworn any vows to his dar. Technically, you haven't gone through the whole ceremony and done the thing, but ultimately you have sworn your vows to Dany, you know?
I think he has sworn to her, specifically.
Okay.
I don't think there's any more ceremony to it, than what they have gone through.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that makes sense to me. So he's done that. So supporting Aegon would be breaking his vows, you know? even, like, regardless of whether Aegon is the rightful heir or not. But then also in this chapter, he's kind of realizing that sometimes you have to bend the rules. So, I don't know, I think maybe it comes down to, like what Dany's up to now. Because you know how before he's like, he says in this chapter, like, ultimately my job is to offer counsel when asked, but if not, I keep my mouth shut and I do what the king, the queen tells me to do. You know, like, my job is to, like, do their directive. But then it's like, I don't know, but then in this chapter, he's also kind of learning that sometimes you can't always do that. So I don't know, but I do think that ultimately his loyalty is going to end up being with Dany, but I do think it's going to be difficult. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it'll be difficult in, like, both ways. In, like, his new way of thinking and in his old way of thinking.
I don't want to I can't share my thoughts because they're spoilery, so I'll just move on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. He then goes and hangs out with the kids he's training to be knights. They range from 8 to 20, so that's quite a age range.
Yeah.
He started with more than 60, but now less than half remain. But some of them show great potential. So he's overall pleased with their thing. And he's like, now that I don't have to be guarding No Hisdar, I can spend more time on this.
Yeah.
So, honestly, win-win situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then more of like, oh, am I supposed to be guarding Hisdar? Am I sworn to him? Like, is my duty to him or to her? Like, what's the deal? And because he's debating whether to go meet the Shape Paid, and if he meets, then, like, where to take that and all of that.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how strictly it's purely the king's choice whether or not to extend the Kingsguard protection to others, even those of royal blood. And while some will, you know, send it to every cousin and even occasionally their lovers, mistresses, or bastards, that's not required.
Yeah.
This also was like, oh, remember when Rhaegar had Kingsguard guarding Lyanna? Implications. Just
ooh.
Right. Tangential implications.
Iconic.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, Daenerys never commanded me to protect Hisdar, so I don't have to do that. And since... Yeah, and this is where he's like, I wish I had somebody who could tell me what to do, but I have to decide for myself. I'm a big boy now.
Oh my god.
So he goes for basically, like, rounds about the castle, which he is known to do, and he's, you know, making it seem like, oh, I'm just doing my everyday thing, saying hi, making sure the pyramid is secure, checking on the dragons and their dinner and everything. But eventually he makes his way to the stables, where he's greeted by a man in a cat mask.
Wow.
And this is the Shape Paid, who used to wear a snake, but he's like, I gotta sneak around like a cat, so I'm thematic like that.
You know, and it's also so fun, because even in this chapter, but even last chapter with Dany, he was like, I don't trust a man who can just go change his mask. And now it's like, you be working with him.
And the Shape Paid is like, no matter what's going on, I'm really in charge of the Brazen Beast. So, like, even though he's technically not in command, he seems to at least think he's in command. And I kind of believe him. Like, he had his own, like, very personal, loyal thing going on with them, so I think...
And also, he seems to, like, I feel like he's kind of backing it up. Like, he seems to know a lot and, like, still be very well informed and, like, all the things. Like, it would really have to be a setup for him to not still be behind the scenes, you know?
Right, yeah. I think maybe if not everybody is still loyal to him, like, there's still
enough.
A good chunk.
Yeah.
So he has an accusation to make. It was Hisdar that poisoned the locust. His confectioner specifically, who was forced to do it because the Sons of the Harpy kidnapped his daughter and would only return her once Daenerys was dead, but because Daenerys wasn't dead, they killed her. So, love that.
Wow.
Okay, I gotta, I want your thoughts, but I also want to tell you my thoughts, but I want your thoughts.
Tell me your thoughts.
Let's go through this, like, let's get to the end of the chapter, and then let's
come back to this
on this situation, okay?
Okay, Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Basically, Barristan's like, why would he do that? You know, like, the young kid, like, it's he calls Hisdar's piece a sham. Not that it was at first. Like, apparently the Yunkish were afraid of the dragons, but after this whole thing went down at the pits, honestly, they should be more afraid of the dragons. But
Yeah.
the guy that was in charge died. Your Kaz. That's a 7-letter word, by the way.
No, I was thinking Yunzak.
His last name. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he died. Now that they have like a bunch of, they don't have one guy directing their actions, and they're not as united, so everything's kind of up for grabs. And also, to back them up, Volantis has launched a fleet against them.
Yeah.
So now they're not so keen on the peace because they have the power to break it.
Wow. Can you remind me which sellsword company
No.
Bloodbeard leads?
No.
Okay, cool. But he is a Bloodbeard company, sellsword company leader. Okay, cool. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I don't remember. And then, yeah, and also apparently Hisdar and his people's plan is that when the Volantines arrive, they're just going to open the doors and let Marine be a slave city again. So all the little bit that Daenerys accomplished will be going down the drain.
Oh my god.
And Hisdar's like, well, it's her piece. I think we should wait for her opinion to break it. But the Shapehate's like, we don't have time for that. I have the freedmen companies that Daenerys had created behind me. I need you to get the Unsullied. Talk to Grey Worm. That's what he's here for.
Yeah.
And we should strike before the Volantines arrive, break the siege, kill the slaver lords, and turn their sellswords.
God.
And he's talking about, I've got spies in their camps. There's like a lot of sickness. There's no discipline. They're drunk all the time and fighting. No one expects us to put up a fight right now. So this is the perfect time to strike. And Barristan is hesitant. And he's like, what about Hisdar? And the Shapehate is like, you mean her poisoner? Barristan's not convinced. He's like, I'm not I'm not sure that you have the evidence required yet. And the Shapehate is like, well, why? Like, because Barristan's like, why would he want Daenerys killed? And the Shapehate says, oh, well, he got the crown. He's king now. He doesn't need her. In fact, she stands in his way. So get her out of the way, then he's the sole ruler. And Barristan flashes back to when Hisdar told Daenerys to try the honeyed locust and how he never even tried one himself.
Yeah.
And eventually Barristan comes to the conclusion that he wants to talk to the confectioner by himself, and the Shapehate's like, okay, if it be like that. and
if it be like that. That's good. I like that.
And Barristan makes the Shapehate promise that Hisdar won't come to any harm until the accusations against him are proved. And Skaha's like finally gives in. He's like, fine, but once it's proved, I'm gonna kill him. And Barristan thinks, no, you're not. I'm gonna kill him, but okay. I'll go talk to Grey Worm. That's the end of that chapter.
Wow.
Now, this
accusation.
Yeah, so this accusation, conspiracy to kill Daenerys. Do you think Hisdar is behind it?
It's tough because it kind of feels like the exact same thing as being like, is he in league with the Harpy, son of the Harpies? It's tough. I think that Hisdar was part of it, but I think Hisdar was covering his bases. Like, I think that's why this, but then it also begs the question,
what do you
like,
mean
why
covering
go
his bases?
Like, because you know how the Sons of the Harpy took the confectioner's son or daughter, I don't know.
So it can't be, like, traced directly back to him, is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
because I think otherwise he could have just been like, "Hey, my guy." But I guess the confectioner could also like could have lied about that. Like, and any number of things could be there. So I don't. It's hard because like we have
Or it
that
could be somebody being like, we're the Sons of the Harpy, but they're not really, like, you know?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
Given
it's
that you're, like, a
hard.
secret underground group, how is anybody gonna know if it's really you?
Yeah, that's true too. So that could also be a way that it could be Hisdar or it could be someone else, but it's hard because the evidence of like Hisdar being like, you should try the locust, you could try the locust, because you know how the reason that Dany was ultimately saved from that is because she wasn't indulging in the day and the affairs and all
Right.
the things. Like she was fundamentally like against, like she wasn't acting in that way, but like in her head she was fundamentally against it, and like
Mhm.
she couldn't sit there and relax and try this new food. Like it just, that was so far away from where she was. So I think there is a world in which the evidence against Hisdar is just circumstantial. Like George R. R. Martin wrote it as a red herring to make us think it was Hisdar. And that would also make sense because Hisdar was indulging. To Hisdar, these lives don't matter. Like it's just his fighters, his like whatever, you know? So I think
Mhm.
that is a possibility, but I don't know. I just think that it is Hisdar. Like Hisdar is part of all
Right.
the things.
About
That's
the
kind of what
him
I think.
urging Daenerys to try them and not eating one himself, he tells Daenerys to try them once, so it's not like he
Okay.
says it over and over again.
Right.
And like, immediately after he mentions them, Strong Belvas basically monopolizes them. And
Mm.
so, like, it could all, like, if Hisdar is innocent, then it could just be like
It could
Hisdar
all be
wanted to try them, but
circumstantial.
like
Yeah.
he ate all of them before he could, or
Right.
So I think it really is left to be interpreted both ways at this moment, so we'll leave it there.
Okay.
Now, Grey Worm, will he get on with this plan?
I think so. If there's one
Will
thing,
they do it?
I think so. And I think they're going
Oh
to
my
go
god.
less.
So Hisdar's going down, the Younkish are going down, the Teens won't even know what's
What
here when
hit
they get
them?
here.
Yeah. But I think it also is hard though, because then there's the whole Victarion Makoro thingy. And then there's
Well, I
also.
mean, they need somebody to fight them both, so maybe Victarion does that while Barristan does the
Yeah, but
ground
the
people.
coordination is tough. Like, how are they going to know who's who, what people's
Maybe it just
intentions
happens.
are?
Like, they just all happen to collide at the very same moment.
And it's not going to
Big
go
epic
horribly
battle, come
wrong.
on.
Yes, and I'm sure that's what'll happen, but I
Daenerys
just.
flies in with a dragon, rescues everybody.
Yeah, but it just doesn't it just makes so much more sense that there would be a clash there, and there would be like a, who's this guy showing up last minute? Oh my god, it's a Yunkish pawn, blah blah blah. But one of the things that does give me hope though is that like all, you know how freaking, so the oh my god, what's his name? Resnack informed Barristan that like, okay, you're not gonna like you're not gonna stand with us during this meeting, but you are still in charge of like leading the troops and stuff.
Yeah.
So then I think that's good, because then we kind of have Barristan on our side as this mole, you know? But then like it's still tough though, because there's just so many different people and we don't know what everyone's going to do and how everyone's going to react, and like I don't know, it's just hard because also like there's that fragmenting of like, there's the Sons of the Harpy, there's like the whole Hisdar power equation, and we just don't know how things mesh. So it's just one of those things where like you control for Hisdar, you control for Yunkai, and then there's still other people. So that's why I think adding Victarion and Makoro, who also could have very different objects going into this, like I think it's just hard. Like I think chaos isn't necessarily going to help us, because because they're relying on the element of surprise and all the things. So they're relying on being the chaos. We can't have more chaos added. Like let's say Victarion and them get there first, and now the Yunkish are on alert for the Grey Worm Barristan plan. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think that the chaos just doesn't really help in this case. So I'm just kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Pray for the gods to be in, Makoro to like see what's gonna happen and like get them there at the right time.
And that's also what's kind of difficult, and what's also kind of making me sort of doubt Makoro is he's kind of the only one who has some sort of, like, he's kind of the one who knows not everything, but who knows more than everybody else. Like, the Youngish don't know that the Brazen Beast's Grey Worm Barristan plan is happening, and they don't know that Victarion and Makoro are coming, and then Barristan doesn't know about the Victarion, whatever. So I feel like Makoro is kind of the only one. Obviously, we haven't seen his visions. We don't know exactly what he's seen or how far out he's seen.
But he has
like,
the potential to know.
Exactly. So it's tough because the guy whose loyalties we don't know seems to know the most about how things could go. So I'm just kind of a little bit scared. But I do know this is going to be one epic battle, so I'm kind of excited to see it. But I don't want anyone we like to die, so that's kind of concerning.
Okay. Very nice. I think let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Iron Suitor. A very, very long list of ships. The long and short of it is they left with a lot of ships. They have fewer ships now.
100 to 54, basically.
Yeah, well, 93, but then they commandeered some, so they got to like 97. And now they're down to like 54. But then they're down one more because one's not needs to be repaired, so it's 53 really.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's just
I spent way too much time in the details of this.
Yeah, he also spends a lot of time in the details in this.
Yeah. They are now on the Isle of Cedars.
Mm-hmm.
Which has no cedars to be found, but fine. I don't know what and I looked at a map of this, and that shit's like so close to
It's
Daenerys.
right the fuck there. Totally. I was reading like in this half of this chapter is just him being mad at like the drowned god and him being mad at the Iron Cedar and him being like, and that's one more ship and that's one less ship. So that's kind of the whole first half of this chapter. And then like halfway through I was like, sorry, where are you? And then I looked it up and I was like, you're literally there. Stop whining. Like, go.
Yeah.
Which he kind of does. To his credit, he is trying to go, even though people are telling him to wait for the rest of the ships to turn up.
There's a lot of naysayers. Some of them are like, oh, this is a cursed voyage. Euron wanted you gone. That's why he sent you on this death mission.
LOL.
And also, monkeys have taken over his ships.
I love these monkeys. Every single time we cut to a monkey thing, I was like, this is the most random shit I've ever read, but slay.
But monkeys do be like this, though.
For real. Yeah.
Yeah, I've only ever seen them, like, once, but this is exactly... like,
what their
I mean, I think
was.
I've seen them in a zoo or something, but, like, out in... Not in the wild, but, like, on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, monkeys really do be like this. And, yeah, he made sacrifices before setting off, and also in the stepstones, but that didn't help. They hit many, many storms. Also, I don't know, like, is it like human sacrifices? Like, later on, he sacrifices that maester guy, and he's like, this'll give us wins. Does that mean he killed people?
I don't think so. I feel like the sacrifices before were maybe on the Iron Islands were not people. Like, I think it being the maester at the end is specifically a product of Makoro being here. I feel like, because I don't remember, I could totally just be forgetting though, but I don't remember the Iron Islands having a thing of like people sacrifice, you know?
I don't either, but we could just be misremembering. But anyway, he did that. And, yeah, he's just more and more he had come to fear that they had sailed too far into strange seas where even the gods were queer. But such doubts he confided only in his dusky woman, who he makes tend to his gross wounds and all other things, which, poor woman. So, yeah, he's like, okay, fine, we've been here for long enough. He's telling his guy, we're leaving tomorrow. Shark can remain here to tell any stragglers where we've gone. And also, Shark can't really go with them because it's the one that's in the worst shape, so they need to stay to make repairs. And he had passed through Volantis to get here, and he also heard that the Volantine were getting ready to attack Daenerys because they got their election resolved, and the result was we're attacking Daenerys.
Yeah.
So he he was like, okay, I gotta get to her before these guys do, because not even, like, no matter how great of a sailor or sea person or fighter I am, a 54 can't fight over 300 ships. So
Yeah.
I think at one point he's like, go get Daenerys, leave. Like, that's his plan, real fast.
Yeah. Oh my god. You know what's so funny though? Yeah, but he's so like annoying about it though, because he thinks he's just gonna be like, dude, she's literally a queen. Like, you think you're gonna be able to just
that's not gonna be as easy as he thinks it is.
Yeah, like he's like, yeah, and then she'll just like, and like, oh my god, she's gonna like freak out when, like, or not freak out, but like he just is so like, Euron's gonna freak out when he realizes that he can't have her and I can't, and it's just like, dude, be so for real with yourself right now.
Yeah.
And also like what was I gonna say? I think it's so, it would be the most comical thing in the world that I really hope isn't what happens, but it could, if Dany, now that everybody is going to meet Dany just goes to Westeros. I do not want that to happen, because it would kind of be an abandonment.
I mean,
and it
but
would,
how, like, you mean like on the dragon? Now
yeah.
Yes.
Because it would, like, I don't want that to happen, because that would kind of like, it would be such a like, I fucked things up there and now I'm just gonna, like, that would be a terrible resolution.
That beta program didn't work out. Let me start up again over here.
Exactly. Like, that would be so evil and bad.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at it one very narrow way, it would be so comical to have Tyrion and Quentyn and Barristan and Victarion and all these people, and then she's like, I'm over here, Yes. And then her and Aegon are, I mean,
even now,
like,
she's not quite there, so, like...
Yeah, true. That's true. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. I just was like, this chapter started and I was shocked. I was like, oh my god, he's almost there? Like, what do you mean? Like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Victarion isn't too happy with all the people around him as well, because his best people were wooed by Crow's Eye and he lost them, and now he's got all these new people and he's like, I don't trust them like I used to trust my other people. And he's just describing the island.
You know how Valeria's like really spooky and like we haven't quite figured out what goes on, I had like a fun thought. I was like, what if Dany and Drogon went there and then they can be like part of the spooky, making it hard for all of these people to like get to their places? Like, they're the ones
give up all other things and do this instead.
A little bit. Like they're making it hard for like Volantis, like, because you know how he makes a comment about how, like, oh, it would have scattered and delayed the Volantines as well. Like, it's not just bad for us, it's bad for everybody who's traveling by ship right now. I'm like, oh my god, can you imagine, like, just Dany and Drogon on Valeria, just, like, making shit happen? Or just, like, being part of it, And being like...
Or, like, going there and discovering, like, some deep magics or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then, because I'm like, is it a coincidence that all of your enemies can't get their queen? Like...
Yeah. Okay, so he's describing the island. It used to be cool back in the day, but a bunch of battles had been fought. Then, when Valyria was doomed, this place got flooded and just swept away, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point in time, it's a pretty luscious place. They have lots of monkeys, but they also seem to have lots of boars and pigs and all that stuff. So they're like, oh, we got lots of food to get us going for the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Might be a good grocery stop on the way back to Westeros, too,
Yeah, exactly.
And regardless of how great in terms of provisions this place is, he doesn't like the feeling of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something... He's like spent one night on shore and he woke up with blood in his mouth and he's like, nah, this is a bad sign. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So... yeah, that's that place. Then he goes to his cabin to look at his hand. His wound from fighting that guy. What was his name? It was like Sir, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Who cut his hand. That wound has festered. It's festered bad. Like, the maester is telling him, we should take off your hand. But he's like, you take off my hand, I take off your head. So let's not go there.
Ooh.
But they just like keep like getting the what's the word? The pus out. Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, just like thinking and reading it again, it's making me grossed out.
Unfortunately, the word matches the vibes, you know?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, they just keep like trying to redo, like clean it and bind it again, but it's really not working.
Yeah.
And he's thinking about before he addresses the wound, he's having his therapy session with the Dusky Woman, which honestly is not fair to her. I shouldn't call it that. But he's, like, should I leave or should I stay? I mean, I could have kept our whole fleet together from the beginning, but it would have been hard to bring so many ships together, like the fastest ones would have been slowed by the slowest ones. And where are we going to find food for everybody? And also, no port wants this many warships at their port. So we needed to break it up. So he broke it up into 3 squadrons and sent each on a different route to Marine.
Yeah.
The fastest ones he sent to sail along the northern coast of Satharos. And the larger, heavier, slower ships he made them go by way of lease so that they could sell their captives. And he's like, selling of people left a bad taste in my mouth, but not enough to really stop me from doing it. So
yeah.
Which also, how is that part of your proposal to Daenerys gonna go? The breaker of chains, mother of dragons,
real. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, like, I don't mind it when it's like plunder and I just kind of come in and take over and do whatever I want, but it's money. It's money where I draw the line. It's the buying and selling where I draw the line.
Yeah. And he himself had gone along the shore of the Disputed Lands, which is by Volantis and then south of Valyria, which is the most common route. And this is where they're looking at his wound. It's bad, bad, bad. The maester looks like a mouse, he says. I point that out to support my pun at the beginning. I don't know if that was counted as a pun, but whatever. La 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 la. Yes, don't take my hand or I'll take your head. Fix it. Nothing happens. And they just bind it back up again. And he's looking at it and he's like, it stinks also.
Yeah.
And the maester had wanted to do the treatments above board, but he doesn't want his crew to see this. He's like,
yeah,
they're half a world away from home. They don't need to see their Iron Captain beginning to rust, which
is such an interesting, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. And he's getting paranoid. He's like, did Sari poison his blade? Right. Is the maester poisoning his potions?
Oh my God. This boy, yeah, Delulu, I tell you.
Him and Cersei, honestly.
Oh my God.
Let's get them together. Yeah, and he's not letting. So the maester had 3 cages of ravens that was there so that they could send messages to Euron and keep him updated. But he hasn't let the maester send any messages either. So there's that.
Yeah.
And finally, he gets summoned because the captain of Grief, the last ship that just joined their fleet, says that he's brought him a wizard that he fished from the sea. And did you guess it, or did it take until they told you? Or
yeah, I was like, the fuck.
Yeah. So it's Makoro in all his Makoro glory. Yeah. And apparently they found him clinging to a broken spar, having been 10 days on the water.
Wow.
And Victorian's like, 10 days? Nobody's going to survive 10 days out on the sea. That's impossible. So, magic, once again?
I mean,
or lies.
Before he got taken, he was doing his spells and shit. That's why he was standing there,
Yeah. And all his people are mocking Makoro, oh, maybe your ropes caught fire and you jumped overboard to put them out. And everybody's laughing. And this is interesting. Victorian Greyjoy mistrusted laughter. The sound of it always left him with the uneasy feeling, that he was the butt of some jape he did not understand. Because apparently, when growing up, his brothers used to do that with him, and he wasn't the shiniest tool in the shed, as you put it. So he would often not realize that they were making fun of him. So he's got that trauma. All these Greyjoys with their traumas.
Man, yeah. It's hard.
I feel like Asha, honestly, is the least traumatized.
Right, yeah.
And they're like, okay, how do you know
even the fact that, like, you know how, like, with the Dusky woman, like, he was like, I'm just gonna kill her and I'm just gonna sacrifice her or whatever. And then he just kind of went, like, this guy is so traumatized. He's got such, like, weird dysfunction going on. Yeah. Indeed. But sorry, the reason I bring that up, but I also tie it into, I think we were wrong. I think they do blood sacrifices, because when he's talking about that, he thinks about how he had decided to use her as a blood sacrifice to the drowned god for so the he
probably did drown
journey.
Some people.
So then I guess they do that. We'd just forgotten.
Yeah. Yay, love that.
Lovely. Hey, that's a thing that he has in common with the like the Melisandre Makoro crew. Something for them to bond over.
Yeah,
which I guess they
Makoro
already have.
Would want them to burn. He would want them to drown. So maybe conflict. Maybe you burn him and then you drown him. Maybe you drown him and then you burn him. Like,
yeah, maybe they can work it out. I don't know.
Yeah, just modify the recipe a little. Okay. So everybody's questioning how Makoro is a wizard. He's a wizard because he knew that they were headed for Slaver's Bay before anybody could tell him. And also he told the captain that found him that Victarion would surely die unless Makoro was brought to Victarion. And Victarion's like, yeah, right. And as he's doing the yeah, right, he has like a stabbing pain in his hand, and it's so bad that he like stumbles and has to like seize the railing to keep from falling. And everybody's like, oh my god, he's cursed the captain. And it takes him a second to get everything under control. And he's like, okay, everybody get going. Also, you, Makoro, come with me. And he takes her to his cabin, and the Dusky woman hisses at him as soon as she sees him. So that's something.
I was like, what on earth is happening?
Yeah. Makoro is such a mysterious guy.
Yeah, I'm like, what is he? Yeah, this was like genuinely creepy. When I got to this part of the chapter, I was like, I don't know if I like this. Like,
yeah, also all the monkeys immediately run away too. That could just be like, you know, there's too much commotion or they were scared or something, but like, that's something.
It was very much giving, like there was a point where I was like, did Euron put a curse on this? And now Makoro is like taking the curse off? Like, there was genuinely a moment where I was like,
wait, that happens later, actually. I misremembered.
Right.
The monkeys running away. But there's still something creepy.
Yes, it's so creepy.
Victarion wants to know how, when, where, why am I gonna die? And Makoro says, your death is with us now, my lord. Give me your hand. I want to read that as Makoro is his death, or maybe the Dusky woman is his death. Like,
wow. Okay, interesting.
I don't know. I have seen you in the night fires, Victarion Greyjoy. You come striding through the flames, stern and fierce, your great axe dripping blood, blind to the tentacles that grasp you at waist and neck and ankle, the black strings that make you dance.
Wow.
Interpretation?
I mean, I think Euron, but then I'm like, is there like a literal, like, this is also at the point where I was like, Euron's curse, or is it just like a
I think it's like Victarion thinks he's like, you know, gotten away from Euron and is gonna do his own thing, but in reality, he's still dancing to Euron's music.
Yes.
Like that, like the whole, like, I'm gonna have Daenerys for myself. Like, Euron probably
you're not actually
coming.
gonna...
He probably has something going on. So...
Yeah. But I think that's kind of like Makoro's directive here is like, I'm gonna save you from that. Like, that's what's gonna kill you. Like, that's what's gonna, like, you're gonna do all these things thinking that you're doing it for yourself, but you're not actually gonna end up doing it. And then even in this chapter, the things that he said he would do, he still has not done. Like, he did not sacrifice the woman. He ended up actually doing exactly what Euron wanted him to do with her. And then even, like, all of the trauma and everything that comes up.
It's more that, not that he's not going to do it, but even if he does it, it's really what Euron wanted or anticipated or all of that. Okay, so let's move on. So he's like, okay, let's fix your hand. And he says, I need a blade. Silver would be best, but iron will serve, and also a fire. And you're going to be in a lot of pain. And Victarion's like, bring it on. So they get to it.
Oh my Lanta.
The Iron Captain was not seen again that day, but as the hours passed, the crew of his Iron Victory reported hearing the sound of wild laughter coming from the captain's cabin. Laughter deep and dark and mad, and when Longwater Pike and Wolf One Eye tried the cabin door, they found it barred. Later, singing was heard, a strange, high, wailing song in a tongue the maester said was High Valyrian. That was when the monkeys left the ship, screeching as they leapt into the water. And come sunset, Victarion finally emerges on deck. He raised a charred and blackened hand. Wisps of dark smoke rose from his fingers as he pointed at the maester. That one. Cut his throat and throw him in the sea, and the winds will favor us all the way to Marine. And apparently that's Makoro's prophecy. And Makoro has also seen that Daenerys is wed, and Victarion's like, yeah, that doesn't matter. She's not the first woman I'll make a widow. So, yeah, that's the end of that chapter.
I have a lot of random thoughts, okay? There's a little part of me that's like, is this a glimmer?
Glimmer? Glamour?
Yes!
A glimmer.
Is that what it's called? A glamour?
Yes.
LOL. Okay, I fully have it written down as glimmer. I was like, this isn't a glimmer, right?
That's interesting. Okay. So, like,
but
who is this then? Like, this is actually Makoro. Makoro is actually Victarion?
Yeah. But then I was like, I don't think so. Because I think what I was reacting to was, like, the, like, dark smoke, whatever. But then I'm like, wait, that's literally his hand that was just, like, cured, fixed. I don't even know.
Burned the disease out of,
yeah, like something.
I guess it's better than cutting it off, like.
Yeah, so I don't know, but that was my first crackpot theory, and then okay, wait, I have yeah, but then if it's not that, I'm like, okay, so what does this like? How do they mesh? What does this? I don't even,
Yeah.
Like, because they seem to be so different, but then I'm like, is it that, like, Victarion's gonna go through his, era of, like, I don't know.
Well, he already seems to be having some kind of a godly crisis.
Yeah, that's true. So, like, I don't know if this is just, like, an extension or continuation of that, or if this is, like, I'm certain Makoro isn't exactly who we think he is, but, like, what does that mean, Like, is it just, like, he's seated in the flames that, like, Victarion is gonna be, like, the guy that he ends up going with to get there? Is Victarion gonna end up being, like, somebody that he actually champions as one of Dany's people? Like, is he, like, once we break Victarion free, like, he can actually be helpful? Or is he against Dany? And that's one of the reasons why we're aligning with Victarion. But then also it's hard because it's like, if it's the prophecies and what he sees in the flames, it's not like it was his choice. So he's just kind of going with what he saw. But I don't know, I just want him to tell us, like, what his visions were, so I can dissect that. Because this is kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of like, give me more, King,
Yeah. So...
Yeah, but I am interested to see how it develops, though, because Victarion's going into this with, like, we're gonna get there so quick, and then we're gonna run out of here. But it's, like, that's not how it's gonna go down, so I want to see, like, where he ends up aligning himself, or, like, how that works out.
Yeah, I think that Makoro is really on Daenerys' side in his, dark red god ways.
Yeah.
And he's using Victarion as a tool to get Daenerys what she needs.
Right.
And if Victarion dies or otherwise perishes or something along the way,
Yeah.
oh, too bad, so sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I think. But that's probably the simplest thing. But maybe sometimes the simplest is the truest thing. Who knows? Let's move on to next chapters.
Okay.
So, 2 chapters, hopes and predictions.
I want to see Bran and I want to see Arya.
Too bad, so sad. Chapter 57 is Tyrion.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Having just survived some lions.
Yes. And the city
and
is
a dragon.
Yeah, the city is in chaos.
I guess if we have a Tyrion chapter, then he survived. But does that mean Penny and Pig and Dog survived?
I think so. And then it's interesting because he's like, not that his leadership is changing, but like the side he's on, you know, like they're kind of changing.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see a bit more of what's going on with Yunkai, because his guy's pretty high up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll see what goes on there. And also, because he was really excited about dragons, you know how you used to read like the dragon book and stuff? So maybe he'll be like, dudes, that was crazy. You know, like seeing the dragon was crazy, seeing Daenerys was crazy. Yeah, I feel like we'll just get like the politicking from Yunkai's side. Maybe we'll get some wrenches thrown in the mix from our plans. Maybe Victarion shows up. Maybe Volantis shows up. Maybe Barristan plan goes into action.
Cool. Chapter 58 is Jon.
Jon. Jon. Oh, yeah.
Tormund. Free folk.
Yeah. He had to do his thing. Yeah, I mean, I think that he's gonna let him in, and someone on some sides not gonna be respectful, and shit's gonna hit the fan, and we're gonna have to sort of deal with it.
Cool. Alright then, folks. Do all the things. Send us emails. Our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram @popculturesymposium, and join the Discord. And email or send us screenshots of your reviews to enter the review contest. Oh my god. Too many words, too fast, too together.
Yeah.
Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.